Before I start this list, I'd like to give all praise and glory honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double on to the Apostle Ellis Graham Milson, rule well and teach well. So on to the 144,000 men that especially give believers this word in all true sincerity and sacrificing their lives and wills to do so. Shalom to the men, women, and children that's tuning in and listening. And shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad on all four corners of the earth. Shalom yet again. And this video right here will be a quick video entitled Incorrect Breakdowns. This video was also, I was just meditating upon the things that's going on in the nation of Israel, such as these breakdowns. It's like every week it's another incorrect breakdown of a scripture that's pretty basic. And a lot of these so-called teachers, they're teaching their flock the right way, and ultimately that's their stumbling block. So I'm gonna first start off here in Matthew chapter 7. I start at verse 15. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly there are ravening wolves. And yeah, a lot of these prophets like to have hidden motives, hidden intentions. They don't like they're not trying to truly break the scriptures down. They're doing it for either filthy lucre's sake or their own gain, greed or envy, and want to be the top guy, and then you just want to settle to be the top guy. So ultimately, a lot of these false prophets are inwardly corrupt and inwardly trying to they're inwardly trying to deceive. This is verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns and or figs of thistles? And at the end, I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And you will know a fruit by its works and labors. If it's a good fruit, it'll produce plentiful and produce good fruit. But an evil fruit, it won't produce nothing but thorns and thorns. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit. And yet these begin with the apostles and elders on down, the GMS, they have produced good fruit. Beginning with, when they, the teaching 100% truth, the full doctrine, 100%, no lies, no gimmicks, nothing. And ultimately, why lie and try to get a gimmick out of somebody or create a gimmick? And really, you're really hurting yourself and others, and that's blood on your hands. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So, verse 19, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewed down and cast into the fire. And wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. And ultimately, the men that left from under the apostle elders and trying to seek their own thing, they not bringing forth good fruit. They bring a lot of their foundations is weak. Their foundations are based on niggardry and envy, strife, contention, and they ultimately know right from wrong. But the spirit is on them to be apostasy. High time of apostasy according to First Timothy. Actually, let me get that. First Timothy 4. First Timothy chapter 4, and I said verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. And yeah, that's what's going on right now. We're living in that time. A lot of these people, a lot of these so-called teachers and men that was up under a teacher, a true teacher, they're giving giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. So that means they're stuck in their ways. They're not gonna get out of that. Seared with a hot iron. That's like you're branding, like when you brand something, it's seared on there and you put it in some fire and you sear it onto the skin. That's how they are. That's how they mind. That's how their heart is. You know, they're seared with a hot iron. That's what they fixated on. They won't change. You know. So from there, I'm gonna jump to. I'm gonna still stay in Matthews, but then ultimately I'm gonna end in Deuteronomy. Um, if that's the Holy Spirit wants to end. This is Matthew chapter 24. This is Matthew chapter 24, and I start at verse 11. And really, now Matthew chapter 24 jump back and forth between 70 AD, the time of Yahushua coming, and ultimately, or it's jumping back and forth a lot, basically. Now this specific verse, no, I'm about to read Matthew chapter 24, verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many, and that's what's going on right now. A lot of them are rising and deceiving many, because that's how the Lord has it. A lot of these false prophets are here to deceive and be a stumbling block. So what Nate doing, and Hassad, and Deacon Hakah, Deacon A, all of them, they're deceiving as many as possible, and they ultimately trying to get to a bag that don't even matter. That bag chasing life is gonna come to an end. And for one, why you're trying to chase a bag when they know good and well that the value of the dollar is going down and down and down by the second, by the day, by the hour, and the complete crash of this dollar is imminent. So now, therefore, since they know this, it's ultimately in vain. It's all in vain. So now, from there, I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy chapter 13, because this is the judgment of a false prophet. Ultimately, they're gonna get burned with in a lake of fire, or they're gonna get starved out. But the Lord got many ways to deal with those that know they. Ultimately, you can get hit by a nuke. If you survive all of that, you could just get eradicated by a nuke, burnt up, eviscerated slowly, a slow burn, a slow burn. And a lot of them are gonna get taken up by. Now, there's gonna be, that's if you make it that far. Like I said, the Lord has many ways of destroying and eradicating his enemies. So yeah, that's if you make it that far. This is Deuteronomy chapter 13, and I start at verse 3. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of hearken unto the words. Oh, let me restart. This is Deuteronomy chapter 13, and verse 3. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord Yahweh your power proveth you, to know whether ye love the Lord your power with all your heart, with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your power, your God, your power. Fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him. And ultimately, you now granted not all prophets are. Not all prophets are. What's the word I want to use? Not all prophets are genuinely trying to teach. There's prophets out here that's trying to teach for their own benefit, their own whatever. Now, beginning with the Apostle Ezra's GMS, a great millstone, they're teaching not just because they care for their flock, but to save their own lives too as well. I fully believe that. You have to be fully persuaded and believe in that. But anyway, let me see. Verse 5, and that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord Yahweh your power. And yeah, that's what these false prophets are doing. They're trying to turn you away from your power, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out the way which the Lord Yahweh thy power commanded thee to walk in. So thou shalt put the evil away from the midst of thee. And yeah, that's that. Hey, at the end of the day, that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to put that false prophet to death according to what he wants, according to what that false prophet had done. These false prophets are deceiving many, in the hopes of trying to fulfill their own belly, their own lust and wants and things like that. And at the end of the day, these false prophets gonna get their judgment. They're gonna get their complete and utter judgment. Let me see. Was that First Timothy or Second Timothy? Because a lot of these false prophets are ultimately have particular spirits on them that aren't something a man of the Lord will have. Let me see. Let me see. This is Second Timothy chapter 2, chapter no Salaki. This is Second Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also that the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, thankful and unholy. And these ain't just towards false prophets, but these are just how these last days are. How these people are worded now. But these false prophets are covetousness, boasters, proud, blasphemers, and unthankful and unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontent, fierce despisers of those that are good, traitors, because that's what a false prophet is. If they've left from the truth and teaching something that is sound doctrine, then they're a traitor. Heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures, and lovers of pleasures, they're loving that money. That money is what's keeping them around what they're thinking about. That's all they want. It's all a gimmick. They're trying to seek power, vain things. Now, if the Lord just sets you up to be your apostle or a teacher, that's what it is. Now, like the apostle elder said, they've been set up, and they said that with all humility, like Moses was set up. Moses was set up to lead the nation of Israel and having Aaron as a second in command. And those now that is a very high office. That means the Lord is dealing with them on a different level. There's levels to this, and there's certain men that just can't accept that. So therefore, they're going to try to break off from the doctrine, teach what they want, teach what they want in the sense of trying to get everything. Jealousy is one hell of a drug. Jealousy is one hell of a drug. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long. This was just something I was meditating upon, because a lot of these false prophets pertaining to Hassan, Deacon Asaph, Deacon Hakai, anyways, all of that. It's a form of jealousy, and ultimately that jealousy will be put out. Thus saith the Lord. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long. Lord, when this video is edifying, but before I close out, I'd like to give my praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Ruach HaKodesh. The Lord, willing, this video is edifying. On to the next one. Shalom.